Ladies and gentlemen, it appears the Barrelon monster is approaching our ship. We are going to fire trillions of dollars at it. In fact, many people don't even know what $1 trillion looks like. The coronavirus may not be controlled yet, but the market actually is. I'm going to explain my thoughts. I am Mark Melnick. This is the Newsbeat Show. Yes. The markets actually, I know it's so hard to believe. It's so hard to believe, but believe it or not, the markets are actually contained. There is going to be a bottom put in soon. Is Mark a blind bull? No. Is Mark a bear? No. Does Mark play both sides of the table? Yup, I do. I play both sides, but you know what? The government is going to assure that a bottom is in, even if it's artificial. Even if it's artificial, even if this market is hooked up to a respirator which is breathing for it and has robotic everything to move its entire thing sewn up, mummified so it stops hemorrhaging out money, the bottom is in from that perspective. There's something evil approaching the ship, Captain. But before I may continue, you must read the next slide, pause it, read it in its entirety, and then hit play. Thank you so much for reading that. Okay, I'm going to make it real simple for you. We all know, we could probably have an idea if you had $100 bills of $1 million, you could probably think about what 10,000 $100 bills look like. It would probably be a stack, I don't know, like this or something, and it would be $1 million. But what about $1 trillion? Well, our Fed is going to inject $3 trillion. Now, yeah, maybe the US dollar, in my opinion, will hyperinflate like it never has before. I'm not talking about Zimbabwe, which, due to the recent price increase in toilet paper in the United States, it's actually cheaper to wipe your behind with some Zimbabwe dollars as opposed to toilet paper. But I want to give you some perspective here of what $1 trillion looks like. You see that plane back there? You see the plane back there, which nobody wants to fly on? This is a no-fly plane right there. You see this building right here? Looks like some, is that the Congress building? Who knows? Who cares? Here's a truck. Here's a human being. Look at that little dude right there. Here's a woman sitting on a couch. Look at her. Heh. This is what $1 trillion looks like. This is what $1 trillion looks like in $100 bills. These aren't singles. It would be 100 times larger if this was singles. This is $1 trillion. To give you a little bit of an overview of the same shot, this is what a trillion. I can't even fit these C notes on the screen. That's a football field. This is what $1 trillion looks like. This is what, you see that person over there, right over there? This is what $1 trillion looks like. Now, all that money I showed you, we're putting that in the money. We're putting that in the market tomorrow. The Fed is going to juice and jack up this market with $1 trillion. Now, when I tell people this is going to be the fastest recovery ever, I just want to point out that I have made some pretty interesting predictions recently. You know, like when I showed you the video over the weekend that predicted this, that predicted yesterday would be a red bar, then we would have a green bar, then we would close at the highs today. Did you know that today, and again, I'm not saying I don't do everything right. I don't do everything right. But did you know that today, after the market bottomed out here, coincidentally, right on support, and came up to like right over here, I pretty much said right over here at this point of the day that the bottom is in for the spiders and that we were going to close near highs. I was saying this the entire day. I think we're going to gap down tomorrow, not because we are already gap down, because it's predictive. It is honestly easily predictive and hard to capitalize on. Now, even though I'm having better days than I've had in a very long time and I've been making, a lot of money because I could take a light position and I could come in and crush a strangle, and even going lighter than I normally do, I can make more money because the moves are just completely exaggerated. But what I want to explain to you is welcome to the age of true US dollar hyperinflation. And again, it's not going to hyperinflate like the Zimbabwe dollar and whatnot and things like that. But we are going to fire. We are going to fire so many torpedoes at this market. We are just going to sit there and fire torpedoes. We're going to fire so many $1 trillion, it's even going to make Worf look surprised. It's even going to be like, what? What are we firing, Captain? Captain, it appears that our $3 trillion was not enough to hold the bear monster back. That's okay, Worf. Number one, fire another $1 trillion. We're going to just be firing trillions of dollars. Do you guys remember the ultimate bank bailout? Do you remember TARP? Do you remember TARP? How many people remember how large TARP was? Come on, I'm looking it up right now. How big was TARP? Remember that? Remember TARP? Remember TARP? And that was awesome. Good job, Jeffrey. Awesome, Jeffrey. Awesome, Nate. No, you guys are, imagine. That's going to be the new TARP, sir. TARP. That's a good one, Art. TARP is $700 billion. Now, I'm going to take you back to the time, just really quick, when people were like, oh my God, we bailed out Goldman. We let Lehman fail because there was an executive from Goldman who was working in the deal room and they let Lehman fail. And then they got away with it. And who cares? And nobody even remembers Lehman anymore. But we went ahead and we dumped $700 billion in the market during one of the biggest bear markets ever and turned the entire economy around. That was back 2008. The TARP program was formed. Then the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. Notice, just listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, because something's about to happen in the market, and you're going to be like, "Oh, this person called it bullish, or this called it bearish, and why do you think it went up? Because this one." I'm going to explain it to you right now. It's actually very simple. And for those people who think the end of the world is coming, that is the most insane bet ever. Because if the end of the world is coming, your money is worthless. It doesn't matter what you own. You can only be bullish if you are looking forward towards the future. That's it. That's a fact. I'm not saying you don't do bearish positions. I'm not saying I don't short. I do short. I buy puts, whatever. The TARP program was $700 billion. People were having a conniption. A conniption. Oh my God, that's so much money. Our debt is so much. Or this, or that, or this, or that. Remember? Remember that? The TARP, by the way, is the Troubled Asset Relief Program. Troubled assets. Do you think our assets are troubled right now, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think so? Well, it depends. It depends what assets you're holding. If you're following the Melnick 2020 report and you take one of my favorite names like AWK, you take a look at AWK, AWK is trading near all-time highs and is up beautifully for the year. On my 2020 report, I'm not even pitching you for it. Contact T3. I'm not even putting in a link in. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to explain to you that people were losing their minds over bailing out banks with $700 billion and we're putting in a trillion tomorrow. $1 trillion today is roughly worth 700 billion back then, give or take. We just tarped the market tomorrow. We're putting in $1 trillion. Why is my milk 15 cents higher? Why is this t-shirt made in the United States, China, Thailand, Philippines? Why is that 75 cents higher? Why is my slice of pizza $3 a slice and I'm not in New York City? Why are all these things going up? But wait, we're not only putting in $1 trillion tomorrow, we're putting in $1 trillion after tomorrow as well. A different set of $1 trillion. A different set of $1 trillion. Not the same $1 trillion. A different set of $1 trillion. And then you're not going to believe it. You're not even going to believe what I'm going to say next. After we put in that $1 trillion, we're going to put in yet another $1 trillion. Three, ladies and gentlemen, three of these are coming. I'll move my mug. My face is blocking out hundreds of billions of dollars. Excuse me. Three of these are coming in the next 3 days. Nobody's talking about inflation of the US dollar. You can't hit a button and print money and expect inflation not to happen. What happens if the bank runs out of money? Well, if the bank runs, some traders think the bank is bankrupt if it runs out of money, but the bank never goes bankrupt. And to continue playing the stock market game, use little slips of paper to keep track of each player's trading transactions until the bank has enough paper money to operate again. You see, we just keep downgrading the laziness of the United States of America. We used to have a gold standard, and then there wasn't enough gold, and we stored it in Fort Knox, and then we went to the silver standard, and you would have a $20, wasn't even a $20 bill, it was a $20 silver certificate, and you could go instead of carrying and struggling around with all this silver, you could just come with a little paper note to the bank and say, here's my little $20 silver certificate. And the bank would say, here you go, sir. Here is $20 worth of silver. But not enough silver on the planet to do that. So now we went into the paper standard where, okay, here's paper money. But guess what? There's not enough trees around here to print all that money. There's not enough ink. That costs too much money to print money. So now we're just going to press a button and poof, and it's just going to add a little zero on the computer screen, which costs nothing. Absolutely nothing. Here, let's see how hard this is. One. Oh my God. Oh my. What's That's how we print money today. That is how we're printing money. And all these people are just talking about that business is stagnant and all these things and all these people are suffering. That's true. But I'm going to ask you I'm not claiming to be an economist, but I'm claiming to be a kid from Brooklyn, which gives me one dose street smarts and one dose of logic because I'm alive to talk about this story today. So it sort of, that's my qualifier. I'm going to ask you this. If the value of the dollar is worth half as much tomorrow, I'm going to spell it out because you have to see this. So you have to understand right now, and I know people have been doing this for a long time, talking about how devalued the currency is, and I'm not one of those people. I am not. I'm just saying the only point I'm making is that there's going to be $3 trillion more in the market by the end of Friday this week. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, and even more with other instruments, but I don't even want to get into that. Let's just focus on the 3 trills. All right. I'm going to make it real simple for you. All right. Step one, the value, and it's not going to inflate like this. It's not going to double tomorrow. I'm using this just for an example. Please don't jump down Melnick's throat. I already had my Newsbeat Bandit glass, the most eloquent and thirst quenching of vessels on the planet. But let's just say the value of the dollar decreases by half tomorrow. It's not going to happen, but all right. So a price of a gallon of milk that was, and I'm just using stupid numbers, now costs $4, and your $10 t-shirt is now costs $20, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Now, and it's not inflating this much. Now you have stock XYZ, Apple, whatever, at $100. So these stocks are valued in US dollars, just so we're clear. They're not valued in silver and gold bars. Just so we're clear. They're valued in US dollars, okay? You have stock XYZ at $100, and now the value of the dollar decreases by half tomorrow. Type in 11 if you agree with this statement, or 22. We're not inflating that hard. I'm making a stupid generalization. Tell me if you agree with that. Type in 11 if you agree with this statement. Should this, and by this, excuse me, let me rephrase that. Should XYZ be worth $200? There is no right or wrong answer. I want to see how many people agree and disagree. Mike agrees, Jack agrees, Mark agrees, Alan agrees, Al agrees, Ken agrees, Kenneth agrees, Cody agrees, Jim agrees, Bob agrees, Nancy agrees, George agrees, other Mark agrees, Stu agrees, Camille agrees, Alex agrees, Patrick agrees, other Kenneth agrees, Paul agrees, Laxbro disagrees, Alex agrees, Ronnie agrees. All right, Suzanne is not sure if she disagrees. All right. It's just a question. The point I am making is after the market goes back to all-time highs, which is, to me, a matter of when, not if. It always does. Otherwise, humanity is over. Maybe a bear market lasts X amount of time, then we go back. What I am saying here is this. The all-time high on Apple is $327.85. I am saying when Apple goes back to $327.85, Apple in in the future terms, let's say it happens 2 years from now, a year from now, 6 months from now, whatever it is, in the future, Apple will not be worth as much in the future, trading at the same price because the dollar is not going to be worth the same. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You could disagree. Again, I'm not an economist, but when you start dumping trillions of dollars into the market, one must stop and beg what is worth something. In Germany, when the dollar was inflated, there were people who were wallpapering their house in German dollars because the wallpaper was more expensive than the actual money to buy the wallpaper. And if our dollar does inflate as a result, which is an opinion, of us pumping. We don't even know how many trillion. We're doing 3 trillion this week, ladies and gentlemen. If the market goes down, more trillions are coming in my opinion. I know I said this over the weekend. I know I said this last weekend. I talked about government intervention. It's happening right now as we speak. There is no choice but for the markets to go up based on the value of US dollars. Now, I'm not saying that the US dollar will be worth as much in the future. It's going to be worth less. It should be worth less 3 days from now after it trickles down and all the money spreads throughout the entire American populace. We're printing $3 trillion. We are making the bank bailout in 2008, 9, 10, etc. look like a joke. I would say a walk in the park, but it's not even a walk in the park. It's like peeking out of your blinds and then going back to sleep. That is what the TARP is compared to what is happening. And if you think, no matter how bad, God forbid, I hope this coronavirus disappears tomorrow, I wish and pray for every person on the planet to never get it and to feel better and to heal from this disgusting, malicious virus. I pray for that. And I pray that we're doing the right thing to get rid of it. And I pray the experts know what they're talking about to get rid of it. And we have to rely on them, period. But I will tell you right now, if you think, here's the funny part. I know the word recession was mentioned today during the press conference with the US president. If you really think that a recession means the market goes lower, I think pumping in this money that we can have slower growth and a higher stock market because we're printing money. The same $252 Apple you're looking at today, those same $252 are going to be worth less the next day. So if Apple stands still at $252, my thoughts are that Apple lost value as a company, not numerically, not market capitalization, just the dollars that it's valued in are not worth as much anymore. Now, I'm talking very extreme examples, but we're pumping trillion, and we did 1.5 trillion last week. Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to witness the greatest comeback numerically in stocks ever. But even though you'll be happy when your 401ks are coming back, which I want for all of you and I love you all, the value in your 401k isn't going to be able to buy as much as it would have been able to do before all this nonsense started. That's it. Nobody on CNBC is talking about what I'm doing. No one in any financial news outlets or media sources talking about what I'm doing, or I haven't seen it. But being from Brooklyn and always questioning everything that's in front of you, you know who doesn't buy a piece of the Brooklyn Bridge? You know who doesn't buy pieces of anything from the Brooklyn Bridge? People from Brooklyn. So I question everything. And I question everything around me. And what I see, and honestly, I don't give two expletives, expletive manure of what you think about politics and who you do or do not support, because I only care about the market here and what I'm talking about. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are dealing with an election year, one of the most politically charged election years that will probably ever exist in U.S. history coming up. You're dealing with a bear market using the word recession coming up. You have every single place closed down in America like the earth just stood still. And we are pumping trillions of dollars into our economy in days by Friday. So take that for what it's worth. If you think that these stocks are going to plummet, they can't. They can't. There's going to come a point where, yeah, they could go down low. We're gap down. We're going to go down lower tomorrow, probably. Fine. But I'm just saying, there's going to come a point where those trillions of dollars catch up and they'll go up. Even if the dollar's not worth that much, the price of the stock will go higher. And that is the only point I'm making. It's just my opinion. And I'm going to spend time with the Newsbeat live room right now, and I'm going to. I don't know why anybody's not talking about it. Why isn't anybody talking about it? It's probably the biggest news outside of what's happening with the coronavirus, and nobody is talking about it. Why? Why is nobody talking about the fact that we're pumping? Why is nobody bringing up the TARP and what we did with the TARP and $700 billion was the top headline on CNBC always? But now we do $3 trillion. It's like, oh, I don't know, I got to stay home. Oh, my kids are not going to school. What planet are you from? Here are tomorrow's levels today. Hope you enjoy them. I wish the best for humanity. I'm very optimistic about the future of the United States. I just want this damn virus to go away. My heart's break and bleed for every single person who is negatively affected by this. I feel so blessed to, they're telling people to work from home. And it's like, I want to make a meme of my face and just say, and the meme says, that face you make when your normal day is now called quarantine. That face you make when your normal day is called quarantine. Because I work from home. I might as well be quarantined. Now they're saying, see, I used to work from home. Now they're saying I'm quarantined. It's the same thing, right? But be vigilant. I'm going to be going over every single strategy that is working today with the Newsbeat Live members. I want you to think really hard with people who are coming out as doomsayers. What makes this bear market different is that we're willing to throw as much money as humanly possible to prevent the markets from going down. And even though we may go down further, we may bottom now and go up forever, whatever it is, every time the market tries to break down, we're going to put trillion-dollar cushions underneath it. Wait 20 years from now when we start using words like $100 trillion bailout. Because you want to know the difference between the TARP in 2010 into 2020, 10 years later? 700 billion suddenly turns into 3 trillion. And I'll tell you right now, that's 4 times larger in 10 years more. And we might even do 7, 8, 9, 10 trillion overall. I'm just talking about what's happening in a few days. A lot of free stuff in the links of this video description. Access to that and more. Check it out. You want to email me personally? Tell me your thoughts. Yeah, I'm the dude who actually answers your emails. I'm the dude who you could write an email to. I do have a 2-3% margin of error. I do handle hundreds of emails. If I get 1,000 emails, I'm probably going to miss 20 to 30 of you. It's nothing personal, but I will get to the majority of you. Hope you guys enjoyed this Newsbeat show. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Newsbeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.